Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we'll recap what was a great weekend for the Bulldogs as we check in with Ferris State football along with volleyball and cross country. We'll start first, though, with Bulldog football, joined by offensive coordinator Steve Casula. And, Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Awesome to be here. Really excited. Whenever I'm here, I know we're either practicing or playing. So it's always a good time to be here.
Congratulations on a 2-0 start. And this past Saturday night, a big performance by your team against number 19 Finley.
Yeah, complete team win. Like Coach Anise said after we won, we felt like all three phases of the game, special teams, defense, and offense, all played exceptionally well. Obviously special teams kind of got us rolling a little bit with a big turnover on the first punt of the game that kind of jump-started us. Our defense held coming into the game, the number one ranked offense in the country, just a little bit ahead of us, to 13 points. Defended them really well against a four-year starter quarterback. I think it was only the second time that their quarterback's ever been held under 100 yards passing in 37 career starts. That's exceptional. And then offensively, our kids made plays. So it's always fun when you put together kind of a complete game. So we were really excited and proud of the way that we played. Really happy.
As we go into some of the highlights, you mentioned that big fumble early on after the defense was out there and certainly got your offense rolling with good field position.
Yeah, that was huge, Javon Shaw, Liam Daly, and Stanley Williams, kind of all three of them, three hats to the party right now. I think Shaw caused the fumble, and then Liam and Stanley were right there to be involved in recovering it. But you can just see the number of jerseys that we have around the ball put a lot of stress on Finley's returner. And then we come back, our second play, Keandre Craig makes a great play on a great thrown ball by J. Rue Campbell, kind of get us going.
J. Rue Campbell right here with a rundown inside the 5-yard line, and he had a big night for you.
He did, I saw an interesting stat yesterday. Of any quarterback that's ever started a game here under Coach Anise, at some point during their career, they've had a 5-touchdown game. I guess fortunately for us, it only took him 2 games to do it. So yeah, he's playing really good. He's playing really well. He's elevating the play of those around him. You see an unbelievable play here by Dion Earls. This probably wasn't the best play call, probably done by me, but Dion made me look good there. So really good stuff. And then Cy Barnett has been exceptional. Awesome play out of him. And then we kind of just got going and we got in rhythm and played really well throughout the game.
Able to jump out to a big lead at halftime, and certainly you'd like to see that in a matchup like this against a very good opponent.
Yeah, I thought a pivotal part in the game was our goal line stand right at the end of the first half. I thought that showed you what type of defense we have and how hard they play. 24-0. If that game's 24-7 at halftime, maybe things go a little bit different. But us kind of being able to shut them down, I think, played a big part to our final score.
So obviously you get the ball early in the second half here and a nice touchdown drive to really kind of put the game away.
Yeah, again, our quarterback touched on it after the game. We talked to our kids, and Coach Anise has preached this to our offense all year long. One play at a time, one series at a time, and go from there. And we've been fortunate enough to put together some really good drives and play very well early in the season.
Here, another big play by Cy Barnett, 74-yard touchdown reception, and a redshirt freshman that's making some big plays.
Unbelievable the way he's played. Steve Anise has got him playing at a really high level right now. And, the guy that he typically plays behind is also really good. But Cy's, we haven't missed number 12 maybe the way we normally would because of Cy's play.
Obviously able to utilize a number of different skill players here as you continue to find ways to score some points. And had a chance to play a lot of guys.
We did. We played 66 guys, I believe, during the game, which is 3 more than we played the week before, which is so vital for us. We played 4 running backs. We played 6 receivers. We played 5 slot receivers. We played 3 quarterbacks in the game and 11 offensive linemen and also 2 tight ends. So when you look at, we've played virtually almost all we've got. We held a couple guys out that have been nicked up that we didn't feel like we needed to play late in the game by risk of additional injury. But yeah, it's fun when you're able to, everybody that practices gets to play in the game too, and not just play, but perform. That's a good defense that we played, and I know that might be, some may not realize that. That's a really good team that we played. And when our second unit can go in there, or even sometimes our third unit, and put together legitimate drives and score touchdowns. I mean, sometimes when you look at our sideline, the celebrations, it's almost the most rewarding part of the game for us is when our young guys get to go in there and make plays. So really pleased with that.
59-13 the final score. How much confidence does that give you, a win like that over a very good opponent going into the start of conference play?
Yeah, I think that the approach we're taking is what happened, and don't get me wrong, we're proud of that, and that's what matters. But we know things, every week's a different week, and we've certainly got a tough challenge ahead of us, getting ready to play Northwood, a team that has always played us tough, and a team that is really quality and has been the whole time under Coach Haynes. So, yeah, I mean, we're proud of how we played and that we were able to beat Findlay in the fashion we did. But 2-0 is 2-0, and whether we won that game 3-2 or 59-13, the end result's the same, and we're ready to take the next step and play our next one.
Obviously, Northwood this week on the road, and after back-to-back home games, I know that was nice to start the year at home, but how tough is the challenge now going on the road here for the next 2 weeks?
Well, it's like anything else. When you play a long stretch of home games, you think to yourself, like, man, I can't wait to go play a road game. Then you play 2 in a row road games, and we're going to be saying, man, I can't wait to go home. So it'll be a nice change-up for our kids. In my time here, Coach Anise has our guys so well prepared to travel. We travel so well that it's not that big of a deal for us. It's a same-day trip. We're excited to go and play Northwood. We're excited to go and play on their new surface, and really looking forward to the game this Saturday.
You mentioned Northwood, a tough place to play. A couple years ago, came down to the final play of the ball game. The Bulldogs with the win in Midland, and obviously a tough opponent going on the road to play them at their place.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look back at each of the last 2 years, I think we beat them 27-26 in 2016. And then we beat them a year ago, I believe, 24-14, but a game that was very close. Came down to the wire. We're two teams that are really familiar with each other. Our coaching staffs are very close. A lot of us know each other. Kind of, similar from a philosophical standpoint, offensively in some ways. So it's always a tight game, and one we're really looking forward to. And they're a good team. That they play hard and they've got good players. So. It's a challenge we're looking forward to.
What will be some of the keys for your team going over to Midland to try to come back with a victory?
Well, I think number one, like you touched on, it's the first time we're going to travel. How do we handle that? And number two is doing what we've always talked about, focusing one play at a time, one series at a time, one quarter at a time. Kind of our mantra this year is to win every quarter. Every quarter we want to win. We want to beat the other team in every quarter. We were able to do that Saturday night, We went 4-0. So we outscored our opponent in every quarter. That's going to be our goal Saturday, but to take it one quarter at a time. But just to focus on each individual's job, playing to the best of our ability, we believe good things will happen.
Well, Coach, best of luck to the Bulldogs. Congratulations on the 2-0 start, and looking forward to this Saturday in Midland.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
Hands-on learning. Small class sizes. Experienced faculty. Access to equipment. Television and digital media production. Media creators of tomorrow.
And of course, our delicious, authentic, traditional
Man, I want Mancino's.
Try our new flatbread pizza with a refreshing cold.
Silly dog. We don't need to call. We can order Mancino's online now.
Don't forget, Mancino's.
Order your Mancino's online today.
At Ferris State University, be a provider. Be an investigator. What do you want to be? Be a Bulldog! Visit ferris.edu today.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Ferris State Volleyball and joined by head coach Tia Brandel-Wilhelm. Coach, first of all, welcome back to the show and congratulations on a couple wins this past weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for having us here.
I know it was nice to be back at home this past weekend after that long trip to Florida. You came back for start of conference play and got a couple big victories.
Yeah, it was just nice to get a win for sure, especially after our trip to Florida when we weren't quite on par for what we wanted to be doing. But yeah, it was great to play at home again, have our home crowd there, and just have that experience for sure.
Before we get into some of the highlights, this past weekend taking on two opponents, Wisconsin Parkside, Purdue Northwest, the two newest schools here in the GLIAC, and two teams you haven't seen a whole lot of over the years.
Yeah, we've played Purdue Northwest once, and Wisconsin Parkside has been years since we've played them. So yeah, we don't have a lot of experience or memory or history with either program, which definitely is a little bit different in getting ready for them, because usually you kind of know how the teams play and you have a little sense of the style of their defense and the way that their setter's going to run things like that. But this was all new. We had to show pictures to the players and say, this is what they look like and how everything goes. So definitely a little different than what we're used to.
As we go to the match on Friday night against Wisconsin Parkside, got off to a great start and able to jump in front here early and get a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, it was good. Parkside, it's the first time we'd ever played them in conference, so it was kind of a new kind of working things out a little bit with us. But I thought it was great. Again, Maeve did a really good job, our setter, of distributing the ball and just trying to get everybody involved in the offense and try to keep them a little bit off balance. So I think you see a little bit of that as you look at the highlights.
Allison Capel, 12 kills, Michaela Carey with 9. Those two have kind of led you in that category, but a lot of touches for some other players as well.
Yeah, and everybody played in the match, which was really great. And we've had some injuries in practice the last couple weeks, so we've been trying to work on a few other things with what we're doing. It's been a little difficult, but we were able to do that this weekend, and it was really nice to see that.
Player in red, Katie Plasek, with 22 digs, and how much has she meant to you in that role, a new role for her this season?
Yeah, a very new role. We were talking after the weekend that her freshman year she was a right side hitter for us, and then she was an outside as a sophomore, and then back to right side as a junior, and then this year as the libero. And it's definitely the best suited place for her. I mean, she gets giddy. She's so excited to play libero and just be, that player that's serving the rest of her team and just working to make everybody else better. And she's never been a player that's wanted much glory for herself. So this is an ideal spot for her.
You were able to win all 3 sets here, but Wisconsin Parkside battled a team that never really went away during the match.
No, they really play aggressive on defense, so that really keeps them in there. And they have a couple big hitters, so just being able to dig up the ball and throw the ball to your high ball hitters, and they take really big swings. So it was definitely a close match at times.
25-16, 25-15, and 25-20. You get the win, and always nice to start off conference play in your first match with a victory.
Anytime we get a win in the GLIAC, I'm absolutely excited.
Came back on Saturday and took on Purdue Northwest. You had seen them last year. Well, what's been the mark of their program, maybe going from last year to this year in their second year as a GLIAC member?
I think they're much more aggressive in their play. They really get after it from the service line, and the things that they can control, they do a really good job of working to control those. And serving's one of them. They get back there, and they're very specific and aggressive and very paceful with their serve for sure. And they have, I think, some bigger physical players. They have a couple middles that are really a big size difference from last year. So I think that's a big part of the difference. And they play with so much energy. You really can't get them down. They are high energy, excited all the time. And they have a huge bench. They have 10 people, 11 people on their bench all the time, and that they are full of energy all the time.
What were some keys for your team here to get the victory on Saturday?
I think one of the things too, just kind of like Friday, we wanted to get a little bit more parity in our offense and distribute the ball a little bit better. And it was just really nice to see that happening. We wanted to pass better than we did, and that would have helped us, I think, do a little bit more of that. I didn't think it was a really good passing night, and Purdue Northwest definitely served well.
How important was it for you to get some of the players that maybe hadn't seen a lot of action early on in the year, some playing time this past weekend?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for us. We definitely needed to do that, and we haven't had as many opportunities to do that because we've had some injuries and haven't been able to train people where we see them playing. So this weekend it was nice to have a couple opportunities to get some kids in there.
Obviously, some of those matches you played early on in the non-conference portion of the season really helped prepare you for the start of league action.
Yeah, I mean, we just had such a tough early season schedule. You know, of our first 8 matches, 6 of them are teams that are either in the top 25 or just out of it getting votes. So it was definitely a very tough preseason, and I hope that it's prepared us for the conference race.
Obviously, a tough trip, as you mentioned last week, going to Florida. Talk about how the kids bounced back maybe this past weekend in these 2 matches.
I think we had to, kind of do some connecting with our goals a little bit more, and just, really make sure that we were training every day in practice the way that we wanted to train, so that we could be the team that we want to be when match time comes. So I think we got a little better with that last week, and I hope that we keep working on that. It's definitely something that we're focused on.
Obviously, a challenge this week going on the road, a match on Tuesday here early in the week against Northwood, and then a big road trip to Michigan Tech, Northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula this weekend.
It will be really good to get on a road trip where we can just get on the bus and, have our driver who, takes good care of us, and just get on the bus and just spend time together as a team. I think this is a team that really likes each other, and they really enjoy being with each other, and they're all very committed to the same outcomes and the same focus points. So just being able to be on the bus together and have that time, just to build your team, we're very excited for the trip.
Obviously, 3 matches this week, and all 3 opponents traditionally have been some of the stronger teams in the GLIAC.
For sure, yeah. It's kind of like that. We with the new reconfigured GLIAC, it's kind of like pretty much every weekend you're getting to see the stronger teams in the GLIAC. So it'll be competitive and fun, and that's what we train for every day. Obviously
a long trip, but what are some keys to going on the road here and getting some wins up in the Upper Peninsula?
Oh gosh, a lot of keys, I think, going into that. I think the biggest thing for us is that we, enjoy the process, and that we play our game when we get there, and just, it's fun to go into other gyms and just to keep doing that as we play. Obviously,
in your own gym, you've been very successful here over your career, and certainly here in recent years, back at home, September 21st, 22nd. I know, looking forward to being back here after a long trip, and hopefully some big crowds here for these upcoming conference matches. Yeah, for sure. I think we have a couple of good matches coming up later in September. One of them is that noon match, so we get lots of school kids that come as a field trip, and that's a pretty cool experience for the team. Well, Coach, congratulations again on the wins, and best of luck here as you play a busy road stretch here this week. Thank you. We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.
At Ferris State University, be a designer. Be an informer. Be a maker. Be a bulldog! Visit ferris.edu today.
Cuts back to the right side, breaks a tackle, touchdown!
Clouding the diagonal, Mackin shoots and scores! Corey Mackin off the rebound!
Run to Williams, back to Cusingberry, three-pointer up and good!
GLIAC tournament champion.
Ferris State with a huge win!
Come rise with us. For more information, visit ferrisstatebulldogs.com.
At Ferris State University, we're more than our student to faculty ratio.
More than our variety of programs, our internship rate,
or our number of student organizations.
Here, you're never just a number.
You can be yourself and be focused on your goals.
Be inspired every day and be ready for tomorrow.
Be a bulldog. Go to ferris.edu.
Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk Bulldog cross country, and with us, head coach Jared Kelsh. And Coach, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me.
This past Saturday, obviously, only home competition of the year, and a great day for the Bulldogs as you win the Ray Helsing Bulldog Invitational, both on the men's and women's side.
Yeah, it was fantastic weather. Super excited to get one in. We generally went a little bit shorter on the women's side with the 5K, and so they'll move up to the 6K this week at Michigan State. But just great for both squads who were pretty young on both sides to be able to get one in good weather and kind of have a rust buster for the season.
Before we get to some of the action here this past weekend, obviously this event going on a long time, 44th annual event, and an event that's named after a guy that started the Bulldog program, and Ray Helsing.
Yeah, fantastic that they were able to rename it in 2010. He was a huge part of Ferris State cross country and track, and one of the all-time winningest coaches. So it's great to be able to see a lot of alumni that ran for him still come out to the meets and support. He has family that still come to the meet every year. So always exciting to be able to celebrate such a great coach who had an inspiration on so many Ferris State athletes over the years.
We'll get into the highlights of the women's action here to start the day, and obviously your women's team running strong with several returning letter winners from last year back here in the mix this year.
Yeah, we were really pleased with how we ran. Again, we have 8 freshmen that we added to the team this year, so we're pretty young out of the 21 that we have on the squad. We ended up beating Northern Michigan by, I think, 5 points. They were preseason ranked, I think, 15th or 16th in the country. So that was big for us. First one out to be able to kind of to make a mark and see where we're at, and allows us to move on going forward. So
5 runners here for the Bulldogs able to finish in the top 10 overall. Who were some bright spots for you here in terms of the way they ran?
Katie Atlamecki won the race. I think she was about 30 seconds in front of second place. Our true freshman, Paige Dietering, did fantastic. She was our second runner for us. And then I think our top 5 were rounded out by Sydney Dawes, Kenzie Garvey, and Jenny. And so they're all sophomores, returners that are now juniors, so they did a fantastic job of really stepping up on a team that's very young. So
obviously great weather conditions here and a nice day to run here at Khaki Golf Course.
Yeah, it's hard to ask for better conditions than we've had. The last couple of years it's been a little bit more humid and a little hotter. So to be able to have these conditions for our first race really lets us, maybe put a little bit more effort in than we have in the past, just because it is such great conditions, and gives us a great starting point moving forward for the year.
See the leaderboard right there as we shift over to the men's side, and obviously the men's team had a strong day as well. 8 top finishers, all from Ferris State. Yeah,
our guys did very well. Had some freshmen step up, run an 8K for the first time, and some returning sophomores and a couple of seniors that really just took the lead right from the gun and really put the hammer down. So that was great to see. I think our top 6 guys were all within 90 seconds, which is a good start for us, especially, like I said, having a couple of freshmen in that top group. Eventually we'd like to whittle it down to maybe 60. But yeah, we were pretty happy with how that turned out for the first one, and just like I said, kind of getting that first one in, and excited for the season to keep moving forward. Damian Halverson, the individual winner for the Bulldogs, and nice to see him as a senior be able to win this race here, a guy that's been around the program for a long time. Yeah, it's he's really put in a lot of additional work this year. Really wants to kind of go out with a bang. It's great the last couple of years. We had Trevor Holloway last year win it as a senior, and then Damian come back this year and do it. So it's exciting when you see the hard work of those guys who've been here 4 years, pay off, and really starting off on a good note as a senior, and hope to continue to move forward as we push through November. So. What does it mean for both teams to be able to run that race here at home, and a chance to run in front of maybe some of the fans and friends from around the area? Yeah, it's always great. I mean, we have a great support system. Our fans and the community tend to travel and watch our meets, but it's always great when you can have one at home. You feel a little bit more comfortable. You get to sleep in your own bed. You're not so worried. Obviously, we've run this course before, so they've had an opportunity to see it and kind of know what's coming. So it's great to be able to get a race in, within the community and have that much more support than we typically would if we were traveling, as it's our only home meet. So I know a lot of work goes into it on a volunteer side as well, from Khaki Golf Course to your event staff, your track and field kids. Certainly a lot of people involved in putting on a meet like that. Yeah. Again, can't be done by yourself. It really does take the community, and so having those volunteers and, like you said, some of our track athletes who won't compete until January come out and help and be a part of it and support the cross-specific kids is a great way for everybody to get to know each other and kind of intermingle within the community and the university. So certainly, appreciate their support and their help throughout the year.
This week coming up, you go to Michigan State Spartan Invitational. Talk about that event and what you hope to see here in the second week of the season.
Yeah, that's always a big one for us. Again, we bump up from the 5K to the 6K on the women's side. The men get a chance to run an 8K again. But in terms of numbers, there's generally, a couple hundred athletes. Races usually around noon, so the conditions are a little bit different. It's usually hot, humid on a Friday afternoon. And so it really kind of tests our strength and durability. And so putting us up against D1, D2, NAIA, D3 schools, so really kind of covers the gamut. And it's really our first big test. I mean, like I said, our meet's great because we get one in and have a race under our belt, but this is kind of our first big one where we see some really good schools. So we're very excited to get this underway and kind of see where we're at.
As you look ahead here to the cross-country season coming up at the end of the year, the GLIAC Championships in Grand Rapids, the regional championships in Hillsdale, how nice is it to have some of those big meets here in West Michigan?
Oh, it's great. Normally we're traveling. We've been to Southern Indiana, to Cedarville, so usually, every year our regional meet is, between 6 and 8 hours away. So to have it, just a couple hours away where our kids can sleep in their own beds and we can travel down just the night before instead of a couple of days before, that type of thing. It just makes it a little bit smoother transition for such a high caliber meet. And I think it keeps our kids a little bit more excited and calm because, we don't make a big to-do out of it. It's like, hey, we're just going within our conference, within our region, to places we've run before. So super excited that those championship meets are within the state of Michigan. And again, that just kind of gives us more support as we tend to have kids, parents who will travel to meets in Michigan. So.
Well, Coach, congratulations again on what was a great weekend for the Bulldogs, and best of luck as you travel to Michigan State coming up this weekend.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
That'll do it for Ferris Sports Update. A reminder, you can follow all the action online and get all the results at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Have a great week.